call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Irvin,
Here.
Herrick,
Here.
Bertel,
Here.
Peeler.
Here.
Cramblett. Here. Fitzgerald.
Here.
Please stand for prayer. Let us pray, O Lord, that you serve your people with all office. May have your blessing and guidance in our preparation of decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people who serve. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have any minutes in front of us from the last meeting to approve?
Special meeting on the 25th.
Special meeting on the 25th.
The special meeting on the 25th?
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yes.
make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting of 6/16/2020 and also 6/25/2020.
Yes.
A few changes in here, please. Under water and sewer, we have a service, or have a recreation.
Which minutes, Scott?
That's probably 6/16.
Under 616, is that where we're at? 616? Under water and sewer, it says a special meeting for the swimming pool. Nothing to do with water and sewer. And under recreation, it says we have a committee meeting for the waterworks. So they're gonna be changed around,
Okay, I'll switch them.
okay? That's all I have there. I second the motion.
Thank you. Jack, second.
Okay. Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Peeler,
Yes.
Cramblett. Yes. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Irvin.
With one additional correction on the 625 minutes, middle of the page, it says Councilwoman said, and it doesn't mention what Councilwoman was.
I did that.
So, yeah,
I did that again.
it's right in the middle.
On the first page?
On the page 2, sorry, page
That's
2.
on 6.
Under audience participation in the middle there, almost middle of the page, pretty much.
That's 625.
Yeah, 625. With that being said, then, yes.
Councilwoman. Which one under George?
Right here. It's right here. Save this, mentioning, and
It's
then
not so comfortable. Okay, I think that's,
Yes, sir.
This is in my mailbox. And it says on a council, June 16th, 2020. What is this?
Oh my goodness.
That's what I read in the print about committee meetings.
Huh?
George asked me to put a copy in everybody's mailbox, so I did.
Who did?
I did.
I asked for it because she mentioned it that one.
She
read
asked
that
for
one
an
meeting.
ordinance, and we said we didn't know if an ordinance would be necessary, so we wanted to see the wording, so she put a copy in everyone's mailbox as requested.
Yep.
Do we have a second on the floor to approve the minutes?
I did. I
Jack
seconded it.
Yeah. We want to vote.
Okay, so that's minutes.
We approved both sets.
Okay. Who did I start with? Bertel?
I thought we voted.
We approved both
I
sets
thought
of
we-
minutes already,
but George
as
added
amended.
correction.
As amended.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any petitions and communications?
I got from the, excuse me, Office of the Auditor from Jefferson County, from E.J. Kahn, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies, excuse me, and certifying them to the county auditor. So they want to get these adopted tonight. There's 2 copies, same thing, although everybody, all council members have to sign it twice.
We just gotta give it a number, we just gotta give it the next number.
Are these the numbers from March that we had to turn in? Is that?
I don't know what they are.
No, March was your budget, this is tax information. It's every year, it's an annual thing.
I can read the whole thing.
No, just give it the number, you read by title, just put a number on it and it's done.
So what is our next one? Any idea? What was our last resolution?
We had to make that modification because we doubled up on a number also. Remember that conversation? So I don't know exactly what number we're on now due to the minor miscue. You can see where we're at here. Let's see, tentatively, I think it's 11. Double check here.
2020-9 was the paving bids.
Yeah. There's a double up, so one of those has to be number 10. So we'll say 11. I think 11 is...
2020-11.
Yeah.
And you have to read that 3 times, I'm pretty sure. You gotta waive
You want me to suspend the rules?
Yeah, somebody's got to suspend.
Yes, yes.
I make a motion to, I make a move that a rule requiring an ordinance or resolution to be made by title only on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with, and ordinance or resolution number 2020-11 be given its second and third reading at this time by title only and placed before this council for its final passage or rejection.
So read the term.
Second.
Resolution. Excuse me. Resolution accepting the
All in
amounts.
favor?
All in favor?
All in favor of suspending rules?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes.
I can go down.
We go there, sorry.
Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Mayor, I move that we accept resolution 2020-11 as presented this time.
Second.
So we need to sign this before we all leave.
Yeah, twice. I'm going to write it all out, then I'll just pass it around.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, Cramlett,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Who moved to adopt?
There's the one James
Who
read.
sent it?
That was
Bertel.
a resolution. Well, give it to me, get the exact title. It was the exact title of the important one. That's this one.
I suspend the rules.
It could be the exact one before Jags leaves with the papers. Make sure you get the exact title of that. That's the mistake of tax, so it's important to get the exact title right.
All right, Jags? All right. First of all, I'd like to inform everybody that the senior center was cleaned this past weekend. I'm going to take, suggestions if we should open it or not. It's cleaned and ready to go, but with what's going on now, I don't think it's a very good idea. And, Fred your opinion, you didn't think it was either, did you? You awake?
Right?
Hard to hear you, Mayor.
No, I told them, we cleaned the seniors, had the senior building cleaned this past weekend. It's ready to go, but I don't really recommend us opening it with what you said too. I don't think you're in favor of it either.
We could open and have people sitting 6 feet apart. 10 of them, I can hold 10 people in there. If you want to, if you want. This epidemic's supposed to be getting worse, I don't know.
Is prime time sending meals or anything? I
No.
mean, well, that's all that would be doing is they would be sitting, I mean, there's no meals coming in, there's.
No, there's nothing going. It's been closed since March.
No meals coming.
We have people who play cards and play bingo sometimes, but that, you know.
But it's just the way it's going right now. I think with
Yeah, that's it.
Something about Ford.
with recommendation from council, I think we should keep it closed for now.
What you say?
I just feel that, like I said, you know, if we're gonna lock this building down here, possibly after tonight, that I just don't think it would look right to open up the senior center, especially when those folks are probably the most vulnerable
Yeah.
when it comes to this virus. And I just think it'd be smart just
Do we need
to
to
shut it
vote?
down.
Do we need an ordinance? Do we need a
I know,
vote?
but we could just decide we're not gonna open it, that's all, I don't know, yeah, because it hasn't been open.
Yeah.
I mean, the general consensus from the council, I think, would be probably not to open it, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think, Satch?
I would.
I feel really bad if somebody got that virus if we open that place up, even though we've taken every precaution. I feel really bad if somebody got that virus out of that place. And like I said, we're gonna probably close this building down too. This doesn't,
So what we'll do right now is talk, we're gonna play it by ear. The governor's gonna be on again this week, so we will see what he has to say. And as of now, we will keep the senior building closed. But go ahead and check on it, Fred, every so often, make sure everything's all right. Another thing
Excuse me,
is,
here for you, absolutely.
just check on it,
You'll
Fred.
have to forgive me, council. It's a hearing aids I got from the VA. I think everybody else's sound up real loud, except the person talking to me. So the VA told me, you gotta be pretty close to eye contact, and, you know, not behind you. But I'm thinking, when he moved that chair, it was so loud coming at me. I didn't hear what you were saying.
I'll talk to you later, Fred.
Okay, later.
We're gonna keep the senior center closed for now.
It's gonna be
We're
closed
gonna keep the senior center closed for now, but we want you to check on it from time to time just to make sure everything's okay in there.
That would be a good idea. But way that my president's talking, he says, end of this year, there might be that antidote to keep us from getting this virus.
Fred, does your hearing aids pick up that Jake break coming down there?
And,
Or we can stop at the bar and get the virus, you know, that.
another thing is, Timmy put up some banners, new banners downtown, the Mingo banners that were down there for years. The old ones took down, put new ones back up. There's a few down there, he put them up this past week. So if you go down that way, just check them out. I'm gonna go skip to the audience participation, and so they can get out of here. And I'm gonna start with you, Stan, and state your name.
My name's Debbie LaCoco. I live at 107 Everett Street. I've been here about a year. I bought my home from an elderly man who had passed away. There was a handicap spot in front of the house. I don't need it. It is being used by the people who live across the street. But it sits right in front of my house, and they have two cars, and they park the handicap spot when they put it in for the gentleman who lived in the house that I was in, right up on top of the driveway. They insist on parking and putting the extended part of the car into my driveway. They park their other car on top of my driveway. I've had several instances where I couldn't even park on my street at all and had to park on a side street or a back street and walk to my own home. So I would like to have the handicap spot moved up about 5 feet so I could at least get into my driveway or even park in front of my driveway.
Or do they have a handicap
Should we
sticker?
remove it?
Yes, but they have two vehicles and whichever vehicle they want to use at the time, is what they put the handicap vehicle inside the spot.
Exactly. And was that handicap spot for the individual who lived in your house?
Yes.
Well, then maybe we should just remove it.
Well, I don't want to be that person that makes them not be able to park there. But I just don't want them blocking my driveway. And believe me, I've tried everything in asking them to at least not block my driveway. They literally sit on their porch and laugh at me when I pull up as I'm coming home from work. I've left and gone away for Thanksgiving, came home at 12:30 at night, and had a U-Haul and their car both blocking my driveway. And I had to walk 2 blocks to get home.
I say we pull the handicap.
What street was
I have a
that?
question.
This is Edward Street.
They park on their side of the street?
107 Edward.
Like I said, I do not want to be the bad neighbor. I have tried over and over to get along with these people, but I've been called every name in the book. I've been told, well, why don't you just sell your house and move? You know, so,
No, it's Edward Street, you said.
We're done.
Edward. That's what you said, ma'am, right? Edward Street?
Edward Street,
There's
correct.
only parking on one side of the road anyhow, isn't there?
Correct, and all the
Church
parking's
side.
on my side of the street. They have a garage. They have a place in the back of their alley to be able to park. They do park their handicap spot, or their handicap car in the back. But for the majority of the time, they do park in front of my house. And like I said, it's directly in front of my house. And then my driveway sits right next to that handicap spot.
Ma'am, my question is, do they have a handicapped person?
That's what I was gonna ask.
And it doesn't matter because it's not their handicapped spot to begin with, but do they have a handicapped person and they're trying to take that spot?
I don't know what you're defining as a handicap
Well,
spot.
it's
Because
the
it is the gentleman, he cuts his grass, he cuts both of the people's grass on the side of them, and he cuts the people's grass who live next door to me. And he doesn't do this one day, one day, one day. He cuts all 4 properties all at the same time.
What I'm asking is, does he have a sign in his car that says handicap?
Yes, he does. But
Still
like I
though,
said, he
still-
moves that, and he pulls that sticker, and if he's gonna drive the truck, he puts it in the truck. And if he, whatever makes it comfortable for them is how they do it.
But they should have come down and asked for that, really, because it really wasn't their handicapped
And
spot.
I realized that, but he had told me that it was there when he moved in, and he had every right to use it, and he does. But they're not, I mean, I've got pictures where there's 3 feet of
Yeah.
blue in front of his car, and he's in my driveway.
He has a right to use that spot, but those spots are granted based on kind of like an application process, is that
Yeah.
correct? So he's not the specific person that applied for
No,
that
and
spot,
he
so
told me
the
that
village has a right to
when
go
I-
pull that
when I-
spot.
When I first moved
And
in,
make
he
him
told me it was
reapply.
not his spot.
Yeah, well, the village can pull the spot and make him reapply, you know, for a different
And I-
area.
and I
Or if we need
realize
to paint the curbs up there, you know, to where they know where, look, they can't block their driveway. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just totally wrong. I mean,
Yeah, we can actually paint a little bit of yellow
yeah,
up there.
Thing to
Yeah.
do if they're blocking your driveway.
give the police a leg to stand on and
Call
they shovel
911
it.
and say it's non-emergency.
If I did that, I'd be calling every day, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, Joe, you're doing it now, so.
What should you do is call 911, address the issue.
And say it's a non-emergency, and then send a cruiser up on there to address that issue if they're blocking your
Oh,
driveway.
well, that's just.
We have an ordinance on when you block a driveway.
We usually all do the same part, and I gotta like, yeah, that'd be more amplified.
First time we'll tell it.
And I think that we can go up there and probably paint some yellow up there somewhere to keep them away from your
About
driveway.
this before, we go, there's another issue about the garbage truck, and I don't think it got done yet. That whole section,
So I'm going under safety too, for you guys. You know, talk about that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I think
Oh,
that.
that's fine.
I'm keeping it, yeah.
You could probably pull that sign.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, even if you could move it up 5 feet away from my driveway so that, you know that little cement ladder that you have on your sidewalk that brings you out to the curb? I've yet to be able to use that. And that's in front of my house.
Isn't this what you just pulled? Remove.
Yellow, 5 feet on each side of the driveway, move the handicap back down, away from the yellow. That would be, I think that would be the easiest solution.
Yeah.
We'll get a hold of the service department supervisor, and you either move that sign or take it out.
Okay, I appreciate it very much.
I'll try to change
Like I
that.
said, there's a blue line there, and I don't know who put the blue line in my driveway area, but I also have it's nowhere near the color of blue out of the handicap, and it's not all there. It's all wore out now from past years, but it is still there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get on it, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, welcome.
Next in line, got you. State your
I
name.
have some pictures I'd like to, I didn't realize it was the same people, there I was going to need more copies. My name's Tracy Katz. I've lived on Mingo Avenue since August of 2014. The pictures that you're looking at, that one that says wash tub, that's my washer rinses into the wash line after it drains out there. But that's after I wash the clothes on that, this one you're looking at here is with sand that is gathered. This is one wiping with a tissue of that sand that's in my wash tub after I wash. It's all gathered up in the tissue. Okay. This has happened 300 times in the last
They're
year.
using it,
I've
so
been
everybody's
here trying to
saying.
get this problem taken care of. The other pictures I look at, my grandchildren come from out of town, 3 and 2 years old, to swim. Little swimming pools I got in the backyard. That's the water. The pictures of the water. That's his foot at 3 years old. I had to tell him, we can't swim today, because this was the condition that the water come out in. This was just in July 2020, that this has been going on for probably 6 months. And when I called to talk to somebody about it, if the water plant department, I've had the gentleman here come up, I thought I had sewer drainage problems. He come up and checked it. It was sand clogging my traps that were in my house. When I called, with this water, when you wash clothes, and they come out so dirty, you don't know the amount of clothes that I throw away. I don't shop for white towels anymore, because they're not white.
What's your address, ma'am?
118 Maple Avenue. Now, about a month ago with this water issue, a gentleman from the water department, well, I was told first from the lady up there, that where you pay your water bill, that, I told her my laundry's all getting ruined. She said, if you come down, we have laundry detergent. I said, I don't want your laundry detergent. I have laundry detergent. I just want water that I can wash my clothes in. So it must have been about 3 weeks ago, a gentleman from the water department came up, and he went and looked at the drain at the end of the street and said, we're going to have to get a backhoe up here, and can't get that drain out of there. So I talked to the neighbor lady. I wondered if I was the only one having a problem. I'm like, it can't just be me. No, it isn't just me, but nobody will say anything. She said for 15 years that thing has never been drained again, which I don't know if that'll solve the problem or not. But the man come up and he looked at it, he said, we're going to have to get a backhoe. Well, I have access to a backhoe, and I asked him, and I think he kind of thought it was funny, do you have a backhoe or do you need one? He said, no, we'll take care of it, blah, blah, blah. 2 or 3 days later, they come up with a sewer sucker truck. And they sucked that all out. They were out there throwing my garbage. It was a while they were out there sucking. And the guy that told me about the backhoe come on the job after they got done sucking and said, ma'am, we're going to have to get a backhoe up here. Okay. That's probably been 2 weeks ago. Nothing has been done. My grandkids can't come to my house. I can't, my dog, I ordered on water transport, I can't tote the water no more to my house. The drinking water. And I just can't do it.
Okay, we will look into that.
And it's the whole street, or just 1 or 2 neighbors, or?
Well, I talked to a couple neighbors, and I didn't want to be one that went up down the street imposing, like, what's your water? Like, the one lady said she has a full water filtration system in her house, and she said lately, she tried to call down, she said up here, to talk to somebody, she said her filtration filter should be changed like once every couple months or whatever. She said she's not getting through a week, that this filter is absurd. And I'm telling you, the damage that this sand is going to my home, from my hot water tank to my washer. I have the washer that takes special detergent. It spits out these little holes in them so it's not tearing your clothes up. I don't know what this is doing, but to me, as far as long-term, well, yeah. And my grandkids, I mean, explain to a 3-year-old that you can't, did you see the pictures?
No, that's what I was.
Explaining to a 3-year-old that you can't, we can't swim today. And they come from far away to visit me. And I put like a little water park in the yard. And I pay my water bills.
We will have somebody up there tomorrow.
And I'll be happy
They have
with
like the
that.
end of a line or something?
And that's what it seems like, I think it is.
Like flush a hydrant or two up there or something, or try to get something out, I don't know.
There's something in that system.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck that's.
So needless to say, the last excursion I had with this water deal was, I had my 2-year-old about to Pennsylvania come to stay with me. We were going to their graduation party. I bought them each new little outfits. I ran the bath water. We're about an hour away from leaving the house to go to the graduation party, a family graduation party. I had to shut everything down at my house because my bathtub filled with that color water that's in that pool and take my grandkids to my mother's house to bathe them. But now I can't have them in my house now.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We will.
I thought I would start here and see, I've been dealing with this for quite some time now. And I've just been being thrown bones for different, you know, laundry detergent or,
Yeah.
I'll let you have a chance to solve it.
Sand and stuff.
Yeah, you'll have a guy up there tomorrow.
Okay, now I must have waited and I got a several, well, this is my next issue. That's 114 Maple Avenue. These pictures are all of 114 Maple Avenue. I've been dealing with this. I moved into 118 Maple Avenue on August of 2014. There was a note I called several times. I talked to several people. The last person I talked to was the assistant chief police or fireman. Is he here?
It's probably Ray Hawk.
Okay, he said to me, I talked to him and I said, I can't do it anymore. I can't keep up with the yard. I was paying somebody to take care of, it's the neighbor's yard, not my yard. But there's poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac coming from that yard over into mine. It's on my fence, my ladders. Again, my grandkids can't go up that section of my yard because of that. I got doctor pills if I need be to bring in with shots from poison ivy, poison oak. I got scars on my shoulders from reaching over the fence to try to get it off of the fence. I spoke with you probably 3 years ago about it. And he said spray it, but I didn't spray it. I'm just trying to maintain it from coming over to me.
So do we know who the owner of this house
I
is?
do know who the owner is. Well, that's why I started telling you. I called and talked to the chief, the assistant chief of the firemen, and he said this was his talk that we had about. This was his professional opinion. I don't know who the owners are. I said, okay. The village has no money, he said, to do this type of yard work. I said, well, if you send a crew of guys out, give me an estimate, I possibly would pay for it, is how I am tormented with this. And he said, well, legally, we have no right to go on the property. Meanwhile, on this date a year ago, the city posted a ordinance violation on the door as far as what ordinances were being, shrubs in the,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. I got the number. That was one picture I didn't get taken, but, or that thing on the door. But I need help. I mean, and I come a couple of years ago to a council meeting and
Jody
Jody
doors
said,
being kicked in all the time. The doors are
If
kicked
you're-
in all the time. Somebody's breaking in the house repeatedly.
Mrs. Fitzgerald said, I was sitting, I was just trying to get to know what was going on in Mingo, and I sat quiet and listened, and she said, if your neighbor's yard needs cut, cut it. And I thought, yeah. So I started doing that. I hired a guy to help me, and I just took care of it. I can't do it anymore. I just can't. And I need help.
Shouldn't have to.
Well, we shouldn't
No, you
have done
shouldn't.
anything.
I do know the owners, because when I got off the phone with the chief of police, or not police, chief of a fire, assistant fire chief, okay? He said he didn't know the owner, so I got off the phone and I called the courthouse. I found out, and I spoke with the owner. On July 6th, Vanessa Moyer, I found out that Vanessa Moyer and,
She's a bail bondsman, right?
she's the owner agent at Moyer's Reds Bail Bondsman. Okay, this is all I found out in one phone call after the chief told me that, we don't know who the owner is. I said, you would know who the owner was if you were living where I'm living. I'm sure you would. But anyways, I have a phone number for Moyer Red's bail bondsman, her, and she said she don't want the house. I said, well, okay, she said they're co-owners. There's two people. There's a Maurice Tucker is on the deed also, recorded at the courthouse. She said, I don't want the house, I give it to Maurice Tucker. I said, well, legally, right now, you are a co-owner of this house, you're responsible. She said, give me, I gave the house to Mr. Tucker, and her and I talked, and I said, I just can't do it anymore, keeping it up there. And she said, I understand, she told me what her problems were, blah, 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 which I listened to her. So the next day, a man came down on a riding tractor. She said, I'm going to send one of my workers down here. He came down on a riding tractor. The grass is set, or I don't think it's grass, it's like corn growing or something, like 7 feet tall. If you look on them pictures, you'll see where he went around in circles in one area.
He ain't getting the fence
He's
line.
not getting the fence line. I mean, and there's ordinances that say the notice to trim trees and shrubbery, 543.02. 521.12 says weeds and shrubbery. 521.04 says sidewalk obstructions. When I'm walking the kids, we have to go around that front of that house out into the street to get past this house. I'm fed up. I pay my taxes. I maintain all I can maintain with my yard as far as what this lady said. I asked her when the guy left, I texted the owner that Vanessa, and I asked her, please tell me this job isn't done. She said, well, it's not going to look like Better Homes and Gardens. I said, text her back, whatever you do will be blessed on Maple Avenue. Just please clean it up. Because there's a guy on the other side of this house, I'm on one side, he has cancer. They're old. He can't even really breathe when he's outside. But he does all he can do to keep the stuff out of his yard. It's growing in one of his windows, the weeds. And I mean, as far as putting an ordinance from whoever posted on, there's somebody's name at the bottom of this thing a year ago. A year ago.
You had a number you said, right?
I have a phone number for Vanessa Moyer.
Okay.
Oh, it's 740-792-4197. I think that's the bail bondsman number, the office, but here's her cell phone number, 740-346-5711. And she told me one other thing too. She says, I've never received any tax forms. I said, well, I'm sure if you call down to the city of Mingo, they'll set you up where you can get your taxes delivered to you. To think that this house, did she only pay her taxes? She said she has 12 rental properties in Stephenville, but she's really busy with all that.
Yeah, to our thanks.
Yeah, well, yeah. But,
We will look into this.
those are my, I'm sorry for all that. And then I have one more thing. The alley, rear Shamrock. I'm going to tear my exhaust off in my car. And it's been like that for 6 years. My exhaust, I have to come up that alley on a special way where my exhaust is going to rip off. And I just thought, but those were my importance. I put the stuff in order like that.
Yeah, if someone will get in touch with that Vanessa Moyer, me or Bob or our secretary to see what's going on.
Then can you get back with me to let me know that I've
Yeah, we'll talk to the fire department too, make sure they don't cite them. And I'll get with you, get your number. I don't want you giving it out right now.
Okay,
Yeah, before you leave here.
okay,
So,
thank you.
okay. Yes.
This is for the energy folks, the energy contractor. Trey Bell, use Trey Bell.
So I'm Paul Ciccarello with Trey Bell. We do the electric aggregation for the village. In October, your current program is up, so we have to sign a new contract for a new program. The one that's currently running started in October of 2017, and it's going to, like I said, end this October. What we did is, which is our normal process, is we went out to bid. We went out to bid with 4 different companies, electric suppliers. We went to bid with Dynegy, Volunteer, Mid-America Energy Services and Energy Harbor. If you look at volunteer energy on, I'll put on that side for you, there's a highlighted green spot. And they came up with the best rate. Oh, we got one more. You're good? Okay. Volunteer came up with the best, sorry about my voice, I'm losing my voice a little. Volunteer came up with the best rate out of all of them, and it's a 12-month rate. Right now, the capacity costs are going to change in about a year and a half, but we don't know what those are going to be. Actually, no one does at the moment, and we don't think it's wise to go with a term that's longer than that. Normally we do, but in this case, we don't want to put the residents at risk of the capacity cost going way down, and then they're going to be paying so much more for the electricity than they should be. So what we're going to do is we recommend going with a 12-month. It was a 0457 rate. Right now, the rate you guys have with the current program is a 0549, so it's considerably cheaper than what you have now. Does anyone have any questions?
When's this going to affect?
Just the electricity cost.
When's this going to affect?
Oh, when does it go in? Oh, they said when is it going to affect? Sorry. It goes into effect in October of this year. It'll end, it'll be over 12-month period.
Oh, October what? I mean, is there a date on it?
Oh, October 1st, sorry.
Okay.
It'll end September 2021.
Are you expecting an increase, since why you're only going with 12 months, then we just have 3 years?
Yeah, we honestly don't know if it's going to go up or down, and we don't want to take the chance of it, of the electricity prices going down, and then you guys are locked into a higher rate.
Oh, just the one with the green in it?
Yeah.
And plus, it is also the best rate out of all the suppliers that we have used for.
We're only going 12 months with that, huh?
Yeah.
As you know now, there's a lot of extra oil and gas, and we don't know also if, if it winds up going down, we just don't want to take that chance. Because then you guys are going to be paying more than you want to, for sure.
Okay. I'll enter this into a contract tomorrow for this rate.
You guys want to approve it, or whatever you want to do? Just need a motion.
Motion to approve that, and I'll sign a contract tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, George.
I'd like to make a motion that the village be enter an agreement with Volunteer Energy for the 12-month contract as here presented before council.
The agreement with Trey Bell, or is it with volunteers?
It's actually with volunteer.
Okay.
We have an agreement with the village to do this for you, but the contract is.
That's fine, yeah, as long as it's worded right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Second, and then, as far as information purposes for residents, we always get random questions throughout the year. I mean, do we still just give them Scott's information, or do we give your information? Or?
Me or Scott, or just the general Trey Bell. I can look at my cards.
Some people see a change in their bill or something. And
Yeah,
they wonder,
on their
and then
bill.
They start freaking out.
What's going to happen is in, I guess I didn't do my cards, I'm sorry. But what's going to happen is, I think it's the beginning of September, they'll get opt-out letters like they normally do, and they'll have all the information of who to call to opt out if they don't want to be in it. And then people can also call us as well, you can tell them to call us.
So the basic thing is if they do nothing, we'll roll right into
If
this.
they do nothing, then we'll just see a cheaper price on the
Okay.
bill when they get it in.
And, I'd like to have something like the last time we did with Trey Bell, I'll have something, give me something so I can have in the office.
Right.
So they call down, or I want to come down and get a pamphlet or something to tell them exactly what's going on.
Sure.
Because it is very confusing, and you know why it's confusing.
Yeah, of course.
They want people to opt out. So especially the elderly folks who don't really realize what's going on.
Yeah, there's always questions for sure.
Like my elderly folks.
I second George's motion then.
Yes, Adam, second.
I'll leave you with this. It's page 14 and 16.
Cranwood, Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Urban,
Yes.
Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Hey, Mayor,
Yes.
I think since we don't have any newspaper anymore, it behooves us to put this in the paper because people are going to be asking questions. And I know everybody's on Facebook and all that stuff, but we should put this in the paper.
Some kind of notification that,
Yeah,
you know, if we look
that
around.
we're going with this company,
Yeah.
this certain company, because, you know, and older people, they don't know what's going on, so.
And you're already, and people are already getting phone calls.
They are. I know. You
Oh, they're
can-
knocking on people's doors now, changing stuff.
There was somebody
Then too,
walking
Bob.
around supposedly,
Bob,
what,
with
Churchill
that-
last weekend?
With this here, you know, we could tell them when it's gonna take.
Yeah, we'll try to get something in the
Yeah,
paper.
right.
Yeah, you can say,
You know.
you're going to be receiving an opt-out letter soon. If you want to start the program, just don't do anything.
So which one of these companies are walking around our village a week or so, really trying to?
It's probably not anyone.
Yeah, if Scott's got anything canned, he'd like to send to me, so, you know, kind of wording he would like or whatever else. I can do it, but if you got something canned,
Okay.
tell him to email it to me.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to them, we'll put something together, so it's more simple for you, just put it together. Any other questions?
What's your name again? Spell it for our business.
Paul, last name Ciccarello. From Trinidad.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey,
Thank you.
before you leave, I'd like to apologize because of our miscommunications on the meeting.
Sure.
And I'd like to apologize to you ladies on that too for the miscommunications on the time of the meeting. So just my apology. And on that note, if we can, I'd like council to maybe make a motion to move the next meeting in August to 6:30, so everybody knows.
What date is it in August?
Is there a reason why 6:30? We've always had 7, that's why I just, by ordinance,
Well, I
it's been
think,
7.
I mean,
Our June meeting was 6:30.
Yeah, by special motion. If it's going to become our regular thing, we should look into making it all single ones be 6:30, or if that's going to be the trend.
It doesn't,
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we'll move it up to 6:30 or 6 o'clock for good, personally, you know.
so it would be August 18th.
yes.
7
The
o'clock,
18th? That's the third Tuesday.
get it over with before 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
America's Got Talent.
6:30, right?
August
18?
Just need to make sure it gets to.
In August.
in August?
6:30, August
Yeah.
18th?
I
Okay.
mean, I don't know how many council people were on the 6:30 and how many were on the 7, and that's what happened. You know, that's why when I texted everybody, I said, just a reminder, 6:30, because a couple council people told me last night that the meeting was at 6:30, and that's what we went on. So, we all, you know, as long as we're on the same
Yeah.
page. And with
Yeah,
that,
I was coming at 7, from the beginning, because that was in my mind, 7 o'clock. But, and that's
But-
why my text was.
but we did this way back when.
Yeah.
And because I had this August in here for a couple months already, 6:30.
Yeah.
There's got to be some record of it in some minutes and something to make it.
Regardless, we have a motion on having that next meeting.
Yes.
For the next meeting,
Yeah,
decide you want to make it permanent, you
6:30
can do
during the
that.
summer
That
months.
motion, and Jody seconded for 6:30 for the August 18th meeting.
I do have a question. Your summer months are just June, July, and August, correct? And then in September, we go back to the regular time?
Unless the governor, I would think, does
Or
something.
unless we decide on something different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, good.
We have a budget.
Tammy?
Well,
Pardon me?
think,
Oh,
the motion to have the meeting, 8/18 meeting at 6:30.
Okay, who motioned?
Pat, I second.
Pat, okay. And
Jody second.
okay, Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Irvin,
No.
wait a second. Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Peeler,
Yeah.
Cramblett.
Yes.
Why are you against that one, George? I mean, I'm just curious, I don't know.
People have expectations in the village that we meet at 7 o'clock. It seems like we're just changing it arbitrarily and creating a new trend without making an ordinance. I don't know if that's going to be our trend.
That's the
that
whole
should be
point of
our trend.
advertising in the paper, while the committee meetings we put in the paper, I mean, just as long as they're publicized at a certain time. I mean, we have full intentions, I hope, of publicizing that meeting at 6:30 in the paper, as long as we do that,
Track
I'm
record's
fine
not
with
been
it.
the greatest of that right now.
Yeah, well,
So that,
Yeah.
I mean, I even made motion to the paper about a few committee meetings I was to have. Paper didn't even put it in there.
Yeah.
Paper just not even put it in there. So I mean, I don't know if I can trust the paper to do what's right sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
Well,
I'm
we most of the
reluctant to, because the village people have expectations by tradition.
So you, 200 years of tradition unhampered by progress, George, is that where you want to stand?
Yeah.
By our inability to make people aware of
Yeah.
the timing of change. That is my only objection.
So should we call the Herald Star to find out who we're gonna send emails to since Andrew Grimm's no longer coming to our meetings? So if we need to tell them that we're gonna have a meeting, we need an email address to send it to somebody up there?
Isn't there that news desk email?
Yeah, there is an email you send things to.
Yeah,
And
like
you hope
news
that-
desk.
I've sent stuff to them, they didn't bother putting
Oh,
papers
yes,
and
it's,
saying,
yeah,
hey,
that's
it's
on them
just-
at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as we can say, hey, we have a sent message that shows we tried notifying. I mean,
Okay, so August
you know, we do our
18th,
best to
we
promote
will
it
have
or tell
a meeting at
people.
6:30. Let's move on, Bob, go ahead.
Okay, of course, we continue to hot patch. We will continue to do that. I think they're doing a very good job out there. This is,
Sean Zarge sends his thanks. He was
Yeah,
very,
did you
very
tell
happy.
him? Did you tell him? They could have talked to me, okay? They're my neighbor.
Really.
And if I was you, like I said, when you get those, tell them to call our office, you know?
I just forwarded you the pictures
I know,
of
I
them.
know. You know, I see Donnie every day, and he didn't say a word to me.
Well, Sean's the one who got.
Well, I
it,
know,
not his
I
dad.
know. I mean, I only see Donnie every day, you know?
Hey, today I was coming up past City Building, going up here, right across the street back where Adam had his car lot there, and there's a hole right in the middle, and it's probably about that deep, because I know because I hit it. And it jarred me, so.
Test drive.
Okay. We're up there by the old gas station you're talking about.
Right here. Right in the middle.
Okay, those folks doing our EQ tank and everything are moving along really good. It was so hot the other day that they had the pour at 2 o'clock in the morning, concrete pour. Usually heat is pretty good for your concrete, but too much heat is not that good for your concrete. But they are moving along. The contract goes until May of next year, I'm pretty sure, but you know, I'm hoping they're gonna have that done before May of next year, because they got great weather right now. So, it's moving along. The village building, we talked about possibly going into lockdown after tonight. I don't know what the mayor wants to talk to you guys about. Other folks have gone into lockdown. I don't mean we have to follow suit, but other folks have gone into lockdown. The paving, the advertisements have been out there. The bid opening will be 6th of August. Let's just hope for the numbers to come in so we don't have to rebid it. Little message about the senior center has been cleaned just in time for lockdown. So we'll see what goes on there, and we've decided today that we're going to keep it closed, so, which I think is the best move, folks. Received 5K from county for recreation. That may be because I'm running against Mr. Maple, I'm not real sure. I requested 12, but no, they didn't get as much money this year on piggyback tax. So I'm just happy to get the 5K, and that could go towards the paving up there because that grant was a 75-25. And that'll pretty much cover the total cost of paving Aracoma Park. And then Cal, he's here to present his position on, well, not only work, what's on their bid sheet, so I don't know when we want to go into that.
Want to go into it right now?
Yeah,
Speak
because the issue we had was, with the operator and things like that, we had an issue again that I was instructed by Cal. I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but these folks can't do that because their bid sheet doesn't have those different types of jobs on it or whatever else. I don't understand. You explain your position then, that's what I want to hear.
First of all, I'd like to establish what a bid sheet is, just for clarification. You all have seen bid sheets in the past. I have the bid sheets for the foreman, for the operator, for the mechanic, for the truck driver. I can pass these around, letting you look at them. But the main thing on a bid sheet is, if a person applies for this position, it says what his areas of responsibility are and what equipment and qualifications he needs to work. That's what they are. In other words, it specifies what equipment that person is supposed to operate. If it's on the list, you operate it. If you bid on a job and that equipment is not on that list, you do not operate it. The person that is bidded position is the one that operates that equipment. I have another paper here that I drew up, and it shows, I will list all the pieces of equipment that the foreman has to operate. Backhoe, front loader, street sweeper, grader, roller, lawn tractor, tar kettle, bobcat, trencher, stump grinder, bucket truck, super sucker, CDL truck. That's everything the foreman has to operate to be the foreman. The next person down the list is the equipment operator. The equipment operator, according to his bid sheet, has to operate everything I just mentioned for the foreman. Every piece of equipment the operator operates. If you go down the list, the next one is the mechanic. The mechanic does not operate the equipment, he repairs it. He has to have the ability to run, drive, assess, and maintain, but he does not go out and do the work that equipment is designed to do. He is a mechanic. The next one is truck driver. On a truck driver's bid sheet, what's on there is CDL truck and the bucket truck. Nothing else is mentioned in his job responsibilities and duties to drive any of this other equipment. Does anybody have any questions about how the bid sheets work? And why they're designed?
Basically, those are the minimum qualifications to hold the job.
Those are the qualifications that the person that bid on the job has to do,
Has to meet.
has to meet.
Right, if he doesn't, he doesn't
Qualifications.
have a job. That's
But
qualification.
It's requirements for the position.
Why?
Requirements for the position, yes. It's requirements to do the position.
So what's your argument?
My argument is, you have in the past had people doing the jobs that they did not bid on.
Yeah, for temporary, yeah, we do. I don't understand your argument here, honestly, because, those folks that are called out to do an operator job, they're qualified to do it, and they're in there temporarily. So when our mechanic took over for Timmy, how did he be able to do that since, as a mechanic, he didn't have those qualifications to do that? It wasn't on his bid sheet.
But
It automatically goes over to his bid sheet
I
now?
call him the backup foreman. The backup.
I asked you a question. How?
The answer is the backup foreman has to be able to do everything a foreman does when he resumes the responsibility of that position.
So a driver can't do that then, right, if he's qualified? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, according to his bid sheet, he cannot do it.
Where does it say a backup foreman has to be able to do that? This is garbage.
Where's that the job description at? Backup foreman.
I have a question.
These are additional, these people are qualified to do it, and they can take a temporary assignment in there and do this job, and they've been doing it like that for
It's in the
30 years.
contract that says that the backup foreman has to take all the responsibilities of the foreman.
I'm reading this thing
It's
here.
also listed in the foreman bid sheet that you have, that if he is the backup foreman, he has to do all this stuff.
I'm reading
It's
this
right there
back-
in the foreman.
I'm reading this thing here right now, and every one of my read so far, on the back of it says, all job descriptions are subject to modify the changes and needs of the village. Does that, I might as well like Sherman paper with this thing?
Yes,
Sherman.
yes.
Good.
When that,
So we
when
don't
that-
have
when
35
that-
people in this village. We got 6.
when
This
that-
is ridiculous.
When that sentence was put into it, the union objected to Bob that we would not consider that. If any time he used that last sentence in anything, that we would file a grievance on it.
It's not-
And so far, right now, it hasn't been.
But it's not up to the union to determine what the qualifications for a job are,
No, it's not.
okay? So,
But in
If the
order
person-
to,
if the
in order to
person
do
is
the
qualified-
qualification, you just can't say today, you gotta run the backhoe. You gotta come to the union,
no,
which
you
is,
don't.
Oh, Jesus.
Absolutely not.
Wait,
it's here in the contract.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
What
Mayor.
section? What
I
section?
need to calm down. Excuse me.
What section?
Let me ask this question.
Hold on, hold on.
Let me ask this question.
One person on.
Let me ask this question. It's in the when I took this job, there was never ever any issue about what we did if they were qualified to run a backhoe or whatever else. And there was nobody there to do that, and they moved into that position temporarily to do the job. There was never ever any question. Why now, after I've been here 5 years, does this even come up? Why? First of all, I don't agree with you whatsoever.
I understand.
First of all, we're a small village, and I'm not putting anybody in a position they're not qualified to do. That's the whole thing here.
My answer, you're gonna say it's biased, but my answer is, I worked at the service department, when we're not here. If it came to somebody cutting grass, I was a truck driver. Because the bid sheets say that an operator uses a riding lawnmower, how have we whacked? If it came to where the super sucker needed to go out, the only person that ran the super sucker was the operator.
Was he the only one qualified?
Yes,
Well, okay, that's fine.
according to his bid sheet.
He
No,
was
the
qualified.
bid sheet's not the issue in qualifications. He's either qualified, means he has the ability to do it. It doesn't mean that he bid
Bob is
that
correct.
position.
Bob is correct in saying that he can change the bid sheet anytime he wants. He can, but if he does, he has to meet with the union and discuss.
I don't agree with that.
It's here, it's
That-
here.
Do you have a copy, where's a copy of the bid sheet? I just like, I don't have one. Some of you guys were passing it around.
Making their way around. There it is.
Okay.
Yes, George.
Question. Article 14, Section 1. The employer may temporarily assign the most senior qualified employee to other classifications in the bargaining unit based on the needs of the employer. Instances such as absenteeism, replacement for short-term leaves of absence, and short-term need for additional manpower. Employees so appointed to higher classification receive the rate of pay for such higher classification. All hours worked in that classification and such. I mean,
Thank
doesn't
you.
that kind of...
That
state
was
it
what
verbatim?
the last grievance was about even, okay, honestly. And I still, I will say, you guys put the wrong person in the position, and I will say that. But that's exactly right. I'm putting somebody there temporarily to do the job. That's my managerial rights, and that's all there is to it. You know,
The problem is, right now, what this is all about is, he is not putting anybody in that position.
I'm not going to hire
The
anybody.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
The operator's position, which was ardent, he retired, he went on disability, whatever, he hasn't come back, that job has not been filled. Bob hasn't put anybody in that position. No one. But yet, he's still putting people in the equipment.
Are they getting paid and compensated for that position's
The
work?
people he is putting,
That's the same work for that type of position.
the people that he's putting in the equipment do not even work for the village.
Hold on now, you're going off on a tangent, we'll get to that in a little
It's
bit.
part of this.
We'll get to that a little bit with the township, we'll get to that with the township,
Part
okay?
of
You start we'll finish this argument first, then we'll move over
Okay,
to the next
let
argument.
me interrupt here for a second. I want to know one thing. Okay, now, a person qualified on a job. Okay, you go an operator is not available. So you go to the next person in line, you're qualified on this job, you're going on this job. Can that guy go on that job, even though he's not an operator?
No.
He's saying no.
Why can't he go on that? You don't have nobody to operate. If this guy's qualified, he went out and got qualified.
George just read it.
Huh?
He just read the article. He just
That's
read
what I'm
it.
saying.
Right.
And you're saying they can't,
They can't
he
do it.
can't force somebody to go on that job. We're there with a broken water line. This guy's qualified for the backhoe, but he's not an operator.
Right.
So we can't get nobody to operate that backhoe.
That
don't make sense.
That's his argument. It's not on his bid sheet.
I'm gonna force the youngest guy on that, if he's an operator, to go and operate that equipment.
I guess that if it isn't on my bid sheet, for me to run a piece of equipment, and my boss tells me you go run it, I got to go run that. But because it isn't in my bid sheet, the next day I'll file a grievance saying, why do I got to run this? I wasn't hired to run this.
You went to learn a job. You learn every job on it. You learn every job out there. That is what you get
I've done
hired.
them all.
And you get hired to go out there to learn every job. So you're telling me that I can't force somebody on.
You can force
Okay.
them.
Right. And so,
The employer may temporarily assign the most senior qualified employee to other classification within the bargaining unit based on needs of the employer in instances such as absentee.
another question, one more question, then we're not going to argue this. How do you know everyone's qualified on a job? Do they have certificates or anything to say they are qualified? Who is qualified on jobs then?
Nobody has certificates.
Then nobody can operate an equipment.
Nobody has certificates for that.
Now we're getting back to a point where
That's all it's right. You can assign a temporary field person to do that job. But here we go, it's the senior most qualified person. If he wants it, he gets it.
We asked them.
That's wrong.
Wrong?
Wrong.
We're wrong.
The email that you sent me that says that Mike Allen and Mullen Senior did not want that position.
Not the position, they did not want the temporary assignment that day.
That's wrong. They will, if you ask either one of them.
He was
they
working,
will.
he was asked to go out, and he's working on something, he was working on, I don't know, if an ambulance or something in the garage. So who's telling the truth
Temporary
here?
field position, are you?
I'm talking about that day when we needed,
Are you talking about a day?
That's right, that day.
Or until you fill the position? Which are you talking?
first of all, I don't have enough work for an operator really even to fill the position. I don't feel.
He's the second most important person in the village when it comes to running.
That's your opinion.
Okay, let's move on here. We got our thing out of here.
This all comes down
Settling
to,
anything.
What's going to be here, to me, and you can tell them what happened the other day, Bob, what I did, and they can file grievances all they want on me and everything else, but to make this village operate the best way it can and get it running, we're going to do what's best for this village.
exactly.
And if it comes down to filing grievances, we'll take it to the grievances. I mean, we'll let whatever step we go, that's what we're going to do. We got a water break and we need somebody on that water break, we're going to let the people of Mingo suffer because we can't get somebody to do the work.
You have the ability, all you have to do is fill the position.
Just like the other
I
day,
don't have to
on that vac truck. We had a guy who couldn't operate it because he was taking clinicals. Now we have nobody operating the vac truck. And what did I say? Operate it. I don't care who operates it, whoever's qualified to operate, do what you have to do. And them people, and who was it, said that that job, which would have took 12 hours, if we didn't have that vac truck, it took 3 hours to finish. Right or wrong?
So you had somebody else operate the job?
I think it got
May
done.
I ask who it was?
I have no idea.
Can't remember, can't recall.
There's only one person in the village that is legally licensed to run?
It's ODOT, an ODOT rule, yes.
So you violated state ordinances by putting somebody in that isn't qualified?
And I took all responsibility.
Okay, noted.
Hey, Kyle, where does it say that someone has to have a qualification on that, or an endorsement on that? Where does it say
It
you have
doesn't
to
say
be
anything
endorsed?
about that.
Where does it say
When
it
you
has-
put in writing on a bid sheet.
Where,
it
no,
says
no, no, no,
this
no, no,
person's
no, I'm
job.
asking you, where does it say you have to have an endorsement to operate that back truck?
I didn't bring it with me, but it's the Ohio Revised Code.
What-
There's a Bureau of
What's
Motor
it say?
Vehicles.
What's it say?
It says anything over 12,000 gallons has to have a tanker endorsement.
No. Okay, so you want the people of Mingo, because we're not following the rules, you wanted people with that water break to be down for 12 hours instead of the 3 hours.
No, I don't want that.
So you just said that, so
There's
now.
other ways that you can do it. If you need a super sucker, you can get a super sucker. Just like Bob was saying, we share with other communities.
So we're gonna take
equipment.
time to call other people, we have somebody qualified on that job,
Qualified but not legally able to operate it.
the guy who's qualified on it, he couldn't make it here. That's Spicy turned down a call out. And he's supposed to be as
Twice in
a
4
relief
years.
supervisor,
Twice in 4 years.
twice this year so far.
The guy's taking clinicals. He's actually going to school, and he has to take clinicals. He doesn't know there's a water break. He had to go to clinical. He had to go do that. So he refused. Now he's getting.
I can get on and
He's not getting beat up, he's,
You
I'm
could
saying
have
he's getting
you
beat
could have
up.
called Steubenville. You could have called somebody else.
No, we got
But
guys
he
who
didn't.
do. We're not gonna call everybody. We're Mingo. We've got guys here that operate these equipment. Who's we're gonna pay?
So we could, what you're saying is,
You
Kyle,
have to agree, though, you're letting somebody operate it that is illegally operating the equipment. Illegally operating the equipment.
Yeah.
How do you know there was? Maybe I was just.
Maybe we'll just contract things out.
I don't know, I heard there wasn't even a super sucker there, man.
That's what I'm saying.
This is all bull, trying to confuse and trap and irritate me to get me to say things that don't matter. The point behind this whole meeting, so we can cut it short, is we need an operator. We don't have one. I can go into
Yeah, 3 of
details.
them.
I can go into details of why we don't have an operator, but it's my opinion. The point is, when the equipment gets pulled out, somebody from the Steubenville Township comes up and runs our equipment. He's not even employed by the village of Mingo Junction. He's running our equipment, doing a union job that won't be filled.
Did you want to tell them the whole story? Did you want to tell them the whole story?
Would you please?
Yeah, I certainly will.
Okay, then we're gonna cut this off.
First of all, the backhoe was not our equipment. The roller was, okay? And Mr. Brownie went up there to get it. Once again, Mike was asked, and so was Kenny, if they wanted to be an operator that day. Both of them refused to do it. They didn't want it. So Mr. Brown did the operating, and he's in the township. We have an agreement with those guys. They help us, we help them. The township is Mingo. We didn't take a job away from anybody. We didn't lay anybody off. We didn't take a job away from anybody. I don't know your argument here. If Mike would have said, I want to be an operator, he would have got on a roller and did it. He didn't want to do it. And Kenny, being the good guy that he is, said, I don't want to be an operator because this guy is kind of sick, okay, and I'll be a laborer on this job. That's the kind of people I like here, Cal.
It's a
I have a
twisted.
question when they're talking about the operator, and that is Arden's position, right?
Yes.
He is on disability?
I think he's finally gone. I'm not sure, because he went and took his
Well,
money out and
I was gonna say,
everything, so
when
I think he
somebody is
quit.
on disability, you can't post their job until you.
Well, you can actually post it and put them in there for 90 days. I mean, after 90 days, you have to post
Temporary
it.
fill.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, how you did that. Okay.
The issue here is, first of all, like I said, there's not a lot of work for the operator. And we have 3 operators in my eyes. So we got Timmy, we've got Mike, and we've got Mullins. And if I need them to be an operator, they can be an operator. Okay?
And they should be.
Exactly, okay? This push to fill that position, I don't feel we need to fill it at this point in time. I got a mill that's laying off 160 people. So if I open a position, who do you think's going to get it, Cal?
You have a mill that's laying off 160 people, but I have 2 articles right here. One from the president of the steel mill, and the other one from News 9 stating that they're gonna invest $20 million in the arc furnace. That's why they're going down.
And I'm from Missouri, and I'm gonna wait, you show me.
All right, let's call this, okay.
I've seen these folks over here promise a lot of things.
Let's get this thing,
Well, I want to know how council feels about this, okay, because I don't want to open this, I want to know where council is at this, because he'll probably file a grievance,
That's the reason we're here.
first chance he gets, when I fill it temporarily with one of those two guys.
Can I make a suggestion, Mayor?
yes, go ahead.
Since we're having so much problem with this operator, and I forget about Timmy, okay? He's our foreman. We got two guys that's able and capable of operating, okay? Why can't you just make them operators? You know, they get paid to do what they get paid the same job, right? Or we gotta put this out.
They're making the same money anyway.
So if one guy can't make it, then you got another guy to fall back on.
They don't need a mechanic,
Huh?
they don't need a mechanic, right? If I make.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like he's a mechanic operator. He's a truck driver operator. So what is the difference?
Basically, that's what they are right now.
Well, what the hell's the problem then?
That's basically what they are right now, because he's the first person to be called if I need an operator.
Because there's a chain, we even made that's what the problem is.
I understand, you know, and it's in the contract also. You talk about table of organization.
Exactly.
The table of organization is not for promotions. The table of organization is a table of authority and who people answer to. Yeah, it's
Just a
not-
framework.
Right.
And I don't even say it's a table of authority, because my driver does not report to my mechanic, and my mechanic does not report to my operator. A table organization, a chain of authority to me is, Timmy Eddy reports to me. That's a chain of authority, okay? There's no chain of authority between your driver, your laborer, your mechanic, and your operator. That operator's not gonna tell your mechanic what to do, is it?
If I may comment, when I worked at the service department and Mark Baker was the truck driver, he gave the orders to the guys that were slinging the garbage. If it was an operator out there, he gave the orders and said what the rest of the guys do. If a foreman showed up, then he gave the orders. If it was a chief operator of the water plant, he gave the orders to whoever is below him. It is a chain of command and taken by orders, and we all understand that whoever is the senior most person in that, he's the one in charge. So I have to differ with what
Just
you're
to
saying.
correct, I'm gonna correct one thing you said. The senior most person is not the person who would be in charge under the table of organization. The person who is highest on that table of organization is the person who would be in charge, and that's not necessarily the most senior person.
No, I'll just go for this, I'll just say this, my guy that's on the water line break, okay, got an operator on there, and I got my distribution guy on there, who's in charge?
The distribution foreman is in charge while he's there. If Mr. Ruckman shows up, then he's in charge.
So the operator's not in charge?
If George Stoddard shows up over top of his distribution foreman, he's in charge. It depends on which one shows up, which one's there, but it's still, the foreman is in charge, then it goes to the chief operator, then it goes to Mr. Ruckman, depending on who's there, how it goes, who makes the final say on any decision. You cannot have a truck driver out there and you got a foreman that says, truck driver, go over here and haul this load of dirt. And he goes, no, I don't want to.
That's basically what you're telling us.
I'm old-fashioned.
That's basically what you're telling me.
May I say one last thing, Mayor?
Let me say something first, Con, then we're gonna just finish this up. I'm
Yeah, it's
old-fashioned.
not going nowhere.
So, right, so I want just clarification. So the roller, say you have a laborer up there who is qualified on that roller, a laborer. Now you had the two operators, couldn't do it. Can I force that laborer on that roller?
According to his bid sheet, he did not take that job.
But
He
see,
took the
this is,
job according to what this bid was. This is the job you have to do. Here it is. Here's the bid. This is what you
so
have
that's
to
all
do.
he is a laborer.
This is what you
That
have to
is
do.
not.
There's a bid sheet and there's job descriptions as well.
I can't understand, I'm old fashioned, if you're qualified on the job and you're the youngest guy,
Read the
you're
last
gonna get forced
sentence,
on that job before you leave.
You know, we have such a small
You're gonna have a
workforce.
hand roller.
We have such a small workforce, you gotta be multi-craft.
I'm not biased when it comes to that, but when it came down to it, and I was a truck driver.
Then
You
we
can't- you
can't
can't
go back.
How come you always refer back to you?
This is over now, you're, okay,
No, it's not over.
you got screwed, okay.
It's who is in charge of who wants to change the rules.
It always refers
When
back
I
to
was,
you.
when I was there blacktopping, you know what roller I used? The hand roller.
I used to walk this
was never
10 feet
allowed
of snow with no
Yeah.
shoes on too.
Because it wasn't my fitted job.
Okay, let's
What I would like
move
to
on.
say, Mayor,
What's that?
You asked council what their
I
opinion
want
was.
their opinion.
And you ain't got an answer yet.
No, I have not.
I have one more
Because we
thing
can't
to
get a
say.
word in yet.
Well, I mean,
All right, go ahead, no, one
I'm
last.
so- not much jumping in
Listen
there.
up, listen up.
What I would like council to know is, while we were doing the grievance for senior most qualified, and we established it, here you go. Kenny Mullins Senior was playing operator, doing everything an operator should do. The union did not file a grievance because we were knee-deep in establishing senior most qualified person. So we let it slide. Now, because we established that, the person that actually wants that position as temporary operator is not wanted to have the position. So now they decide not to fill it. That person, Mike Allen, is more than willing to be the operator, to be the temporary fill operator, but because of who he is, and that's not the person that management wants in there, they decided not to fill the job. That's what's going on here.
No, it's not.
No, don't say management didn't
Why
want
don't you put words in my mouth?
That was my word.
I know, don't you say that's what I'm doing.
Okay, hold on.
First of all, if he goes in that position, that's true. We have to hire, I'm looking out for the fiscal responsibility for this village also. I don't need an operator at this time because I don't have enough work for them. I know that he would get the job, that's fine. I don't want to have to hire another mechanic.
But you can't use outside help, and you can't use somebody.
When have
that
we
they're-
used outside help to do anything, to take a job away from any of the people in this village?
When
When?
you put somebody from Steubenville Township on a roller, it should be an operator's job, because you didn't have an operator to use.
How many times do I have to say this? They were both offered that position. How many times do I have to say they were offered
You
to
can
do
say
the
they
roller's job?
offered it, but their bidded job says they don't have to do that.
Okay, let's move on. Jack, what was your thing?
Okay, somebody call me, council, where are we going to go with this?
It'll be a class action
No.
to the mayor first, and then it'll be to council to decide. Then after that, our.
you know, we have what, 5 or 6 people working up there?
A lot
5
more.
or 6?
A lot more, Jack.
Huh?
You want me to count them? Give me time, I'll count them all.
5 or 6 people working in that city garage.
You got 3 people goes out on the Packer, so there's 3 people gone right off the bat.
So you're trying to prove a point that you want to do what you want to do, not the village, what the village wants to do, right? Our needs. I'm listening to you. You want us to hire another mechanic. Because you want that guy to be an operator. Time out,
The second
Cal.
most important job.
Huh?
The second most important job at the service department is an operator. And I would like to see that job either temporary filled or filled permanently. That's what I would like.
I just said the temporary field.
You got 3 truck
Two of them.
drivers. You got
Two
3
temporary
truck
fills.
drivers.
All right, let's hold this up. That's it, I'm done. That's it. We're not getting nowhere with this. It's over with.
That's my opinion, Mayor, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care what you say.
Well, even under labor, it says in any other service-related duties as required by the supervisor. I mean, even under labor, it says that on a qualification sheet.
You better let these people speak up.
I didn't put that in there.
You better let these people speak up, Mayor, because you know what's going to happen if you don't.
What's that?
The rest of these people speak
Well,
up.
they can speak up, I'm waiting.
Well,
I'm not gonna be
if you
here all
don't,
night.
you like fish out of water, you're going to flip-flop on you, I'm telling you.
Okay, since it's quieted down a little bit here, this is my thing. First of all, what you're talking about has nothing to do with the Mike Allen grievance at all. That has to do with subbing for Tim Eddy. So that's different. The other thing is, if you have two men that are qualified, as Bob said, and they were offered that job, and they couldn't do it for some whatever reason, and you can find somebody to do that, all job descriptions, subject to modification. I mean, it says it right there after every piece in the village. If that's what the village needs, this is my opinion, then you have to have someone that's going to fill in to do that job. I mean, there's no, I don't understand what you would even file a grievance on, Kyle, if those two guys were offered it. If they were offered to do that operation, and this is my opinion, if they went to both of those men and they said, hey, we need you, can you do this? No, I can't, no, I can't. Then you have to, if the job needs done, you have to have someone fill that in. And the last line in all those descriptions basically says that the village has the right to do that. That's my opinion.
I would think that the village would have the right to do what's in the best interest of the village, as long as there are no laws being broken.
Article
In my
29.
I agree with Jack and Pat. If you've got people up there that do the job, and you do it, that's all. It's done.
I mean, if they did not go to either one of these gentlemen first, and they went directly to have somebody else done, I say, yes, you have a grievance. But because they did, to me, they were offering it to the right people, and the right people were not able to do it.
They fulfill
You have to be able to have somebody fix whatever needs to be done in this village. That's
I agree.
That's the first
If the
thing,
person
village.
that should have
Yes.
it, if the person that should have it refuses to do it, then you could go down the list, just like the mayor said, you could go down the list and get the job done, because that person refused or couldn't be there to do it.
Right.
I agree, and we have to take it back to my people, but I agree completely with what you're saying. But if a job comes up, and the senior most qualified person wants to do it, he's the one that should do it. Don't sidestep him and go to the next guy down and say, you do this today. That's what's
Well,
gonna
no,
happen.
That's not what Bob did.
Hasn't happened.
It's going, at the,
Here we go.
It's going to happen. Really, it's irrelevant.
When it happens,
Article 29, displacement and contract.
Okay, read
So
read
until
that.
that happens,
During
when
the
Until
terms
that
of
happens,
disagreement.
yeah, you're right. Adam.
that happens, you have an argument. Until it happens, you don't.
You don't.
Right, correct.
But when it does happen, you come back here and you tell us, and then we'll deal with it at that point.
Article 29, during the terms of this agreement, the employer's use of temporary employees' work experience participants or contracted employees shall not result in a layoff, reduction of hours, reduction of pay, or prevent a recall of a bargaining unit employee.
Okay, Cal, which one,
That's
Cal,
preventing-
Cal,
Which
let me ask
one
you a
we
question.
done?
Which one of those did he do? Which
Where in
one
that?
of those items?
Recall of a bargaining unit person.
Who's laid off?
It ain't recall.
Who's laid off?
Technical. Okay, we're technical.
Nobody's laid off. Well, we're
You're
technical,
using somebody
technical, but
else. Oh,
only
you're
when it's in
technical now.
your favor.
Instead
you're
of filling the
technical.
position, you're using somebody else.
I mean, it's pretty clear. It tells you why,
We're
when
done.
you
You're wrong
We're
again.
done.
You're wrong again.
Okay,
as
let's
far
move
as-
on.
No, I'm gonna say my piece one more time. You're wrong again. You said, we're gonna use somebody else instead of filling business. He was offered to do it. What don't you understand? He was offered to do it and he didn't do it. So we put somebody else in there.
At one time.
Oh, okay, Cal, from this point on, I said from this point on, you're sitting there, we could what if there all night, okay?
Yeah.
We're not gonna what if here. If it happens, like Adam said, bring it to us.
Move on.
Is there anything in the contract management has a right, Ernie?
To what?
Anything.
Guidelines of
Yes.
contract.
And yeah, it's all, I
Management has
mean,
a right.
I'll give you a whole list. If you want a whole list, I
We're
can give you
taking
a whole
the right
list.
away from management.
And I'll go quick. Employer rights. Nothing contained in this agreement shall be interpreted to restrict any constitutional, statutory, or inherent rights of the employer with respect to matters of managerial policy. The employer has a right and the authority to administer the business of the village. In addition to other functions and responsibilities, the employer has and will retain the full rights and responsibilities to direct the operations of the departments of the village, to make rules and regulations, and to otherwise exercise the rights of management and more particularly but not limited to the following. A, to determine matters of inherent managerial policy which include but are not limited to areas of discretion of policy such as the functions and programs of the public employees, standards of service, the overall budget, utilization of technology for organizational structures. B, direct, supervise, evaluate, or hire employees. C, maintain and improve the efficiency and effectiveness of governmental operations. D, determine the overall methods, processes, means, or personnel by which government operations are to be conducted. E, suspend, discipline, demote, or discharge for just cause, or lay off, transfer, assign, schedule, promote, or retain employees. F, determine the adequacy of the workforce. G, determine the overall mission of the employer's unit of government. H, effectively manage the workforce. I, take action to carry out the mission of the public employment of the government unit. The exercise of these rights shall be limited only by the express and specific terms of this agreement. And you haven't presented anything that they've done.
Very last line, would you please read that again?
Yeah, I'll be glad to, because here's where we have the problem. The problem that we have is we want to read the last line of this, but we don't want to read the last line of anything else. It says very clearly, the exercise of these management rights shall be limited only by the express and specific terms of this agreement, not what we think it ought to be. The express and specific terms. And you've presented, I have seen nothing in anything you've said today that's part of this contract that says anything that's been done in this case is in violation of the contract. Not one thing.
Now I'll read the last line of every bid sheet.
More importantly,
With Adam was put on there in protest.
It's on there now. I mean,
It's
it's
on there, but
Yeah.
I told Mr. Smith, if he ever tried to use that, then we would file a grievance because we do not accept it, we do not believe
okay,
that.
Kyle, then you shouldn't have signed the contract. If you didn't want it in there, that was the standing point that you had to fight for. Once you sign that contract, it works both ways, Kyle. You can't pick and choose. So if you guys didn't want that in there at that time, you should have said, we're not signing that contract until you take that out. That's when it should have been done.
I mean,
and I'm looking at the bid sheet right now. Bid sheet starts off with a job summary, then it says major areas of responsibility. Talks about equipment operation, and talks about labor assisting in the following, but under equipment operations, it says other equipment that are not mandatory but is considered a plus: backhoe, front end loader, bobcat, great all, street sweeper. Under qualifications is where it says a minimum 1 year experience, possession of valid CDL. Qualifications is not the responsibilities in the job description. The job description is the section above that that clearly says other equipment that are not mandatory but is considered a plus. So if they have that ability, that's a plus, and they can use that.
and you know, I didn't put this in there, but it says labor right underneath there, and it says, you know, shore lines, whatever, and any other service-related duties as required by the supervisor. I didn't put that in there. That was already in this job description. My line is the last one, when I just said all job descriptions are subject to modification depending on the needs of the village. That was already in there.
Well, I think we agree, according with Adam, that the senior most qualified person should be asked to do it. If he isn't available, then you go to the next one. I think we made some ground breaking stuff here.
I don't think anything has happened.
The union agrees to that if you gotta get the job done. If the people that are next in line to be able to do the job refuse or can't come, you can go down the list. I think the union would agree to that kind of stuff.
Well, they have to agree to that, because that's just the way it is, and I mean, that's what we're gonna do.
There's
That's what we're gonna do.
The contract is the
The point I'm
concept.
trying to make is, if you decide that you want to skip over the senior most qualified person to do something and give it to the next guy down, when the senior most qualified.
Then bring it, then you file a grievance.
Okay.
That was never said.
I know, well, that's never happened, that's not happening, and the other thing is, you know, I would actually go one step further, if I may. If he's asked to do it and he turns it down, maybe the next time he shouldn't be asked to do it, because And overtime, don't we look at overtime like that as far as if you refuse something, you go to the end of the list or something like that? How many times should he be asked and turn it down that it shouldn't he be skipped over? Not that I want to do that, but I'm just asking that question.
If you want to use an overtime list,
I'm not going to talk about overtime. I'm just saying, how many times should he ask?
if you want to skip somebody over for an overtime list and deny them the person to be asked, deny them the opportunity to be asked the next time because you skipped over them, I would like to see this list.
Okay. I'm just asking that question.
It's not the fact of skipping over people, just like with the first grievance, the whole point, and my point why I supported, Bob's flexibility in making managerial decisions, his position in this village is, he has the right, based on whatever criteria in his mind that he wants to set in his decision-making of appointing someone, hey, senior, most qualified. Well, who is the most qualified? What, are we looking at resumes, who has certifications, who has certificates? We can say who's the senior, who's been around longest, that's easy. But who is the authority that says who's the most qualified?
Thank you.
Maybe in Bob's mind, he has different criteria than anybody else, but he's in the position to determine it. That's why I decided the way I did the first time around.
All right, let's move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Jack,
Thanks.
go ahead, Jack.
I got, it's put on my desk, it's a grievance letter. I'm supposed to present this to you guys, the council, from somebody in the fire department.
I'll bring that up later. Why was it on your desk?
I don't know what stage that, is that, has the mayor?
I'm going to explain this, we'll go to
Okay.
executive session. I
Okay.
don't know why you got it. Everybody's fine. Thanks.
Don't shoot the messenger, right, Jack?
I got one. Go ahead.
Everybody's got a copy of the budget.
Yes.
Fire department is basically the one albatross, I guess. We only allotted them $200,000, and we knew that was gonna go over that, and they are gonna go over that. So, but everybody else, every other department looks pretty good on here as far as I can tell. So, I don't know what you guys wanna do, something.
I didn't give all my reports, guys. I have 2 reports here to give. Can I give these reports? Wayne's and Ed's. Can I go ahead and, I think it's appropriate. I mean, they give them to me and I didn't give them. Okay, as far as the, sorry, Jack.
That's all I have, I mean, if anybody.
As far as report to council for the water department, we have 490 meters have been upgraded. I think that is fantastic, okay? And we're going to be coming and looking to probably purchase 300 more. And if we get those in, that's going to be almost half of our users. And I'm hoping that's going to happen by the end of the year. And I'm telling you, I can't be more happy with that progress. Because there won't be, if we get the majority of this stuff done, we won't have these estimates and people complaining and whatever else. We can just drive around and get the accurate readings. Plus, those readings out there that have 0 consumptions, those will go up. Routine compliance samples sent to Massey Labs, routine grass weed cutting, routine service calls, oops, read radio, read meters today. Delinquent disconnects are going to restart this week. Section of the EQ is in progress. Repair leak Friday, 100 block of Penn Avenue. Sludge in both wastewater plants that just has been pressed and placed into the sludge barn. Routine maintenance was informed on the air diffusers. Gave notice to proceed regarding repairs to sludge barn and wastewater plant. We will get to your sludge barn down there too, Cal. Part-time workers started at wastewater treatment plant. Have a time for bids regarding the dehumidifier. Appears in the paper July 13th and 20th. The opening is the 28th. That went over a little bit. Work has begun on the, I don't know if it's going to go over, but I think it's going to go over. Work has begun on the wastewater sludge thickener. Both backwash recycle plants have been rebuilt. Meter for both walls and plant finished water have been upgraded and calibrated. And work has begun on the stuffing boxes. I don't know what the stuffing box rebuilt up to North Well is. And this is what Cal did, rebuilt the CL2 system and leak detection system. After inspection of alarm system was found not to be working. A new system has been installed with battery backup. The new CL2 system now does real-time adjustments, which has shown to use a lot less CL2. Data has shown we're getting 40% decrease in chemical usage. That's great. Replace exhaust fan, belt on blower, room fan. Lost number 2 ditch blower after a power outage, took it out to install a new one. That is on our 4 weeks out. Sprayed weed killer marine inside plant. Clean and rebuilt digester 2, we put in the missing parts that were taken out, never reinstalled, new valves and actuators. Cleaned out digester number 1, removed bad parts, install will be done this week when new parts come in. Inspected lift station and did our annual cleanup. Cleaned out influent grit channel in preparation for new modification of wet well. Cleaned out drying bed that's not used for our weed control maintenance program. We have been applying chemical number 1 ditch to get rid of excessive redworm population. The new construction is going well. I have to make several changes to the build plan set forth by Thrasher and SCT Construction to ensure the function of the plant's needs are met. Now you're an architect, Cal. Good job. I appreciate it. The floor of the DQ tank and the generator base have been poured. Electric conduit for the generator is being installed in the control building. And I am glad you're down there to actually tell these folks how that thing kind of is going to be used a little bit. It does help. Country flow meter reads that the first month was found out to be working. The county flow meter. I informed Mr. Ruckman of the problem, and he's working with the county to fix the meter. Is that the one down by the co-op?
Yeah.
So it's not working, huh?
The only thing I need to add
You sabotage?
the only thing I need to add to my report is I found out yesterday that the main engineer that designed the whole EQ system, Johnson Kaiser,
He's leaving.
he put in his 2-week notice.
Yeah, he's leaving.
He's going to Utah. So we got a new guy coming in, and basically,
I don't know if, did he did the design actually, Kaiser? He's kind of young. I don't know if he did the design. Is that what they told you?
you got electricians that stay there part, and you got cement guys that say, but basically the overall function
Yeah.
of it was John Kaiser. We have issues in the plant where the thrashers decided to do something one way, and I feel that it's not gonna work to the best ability of the wastewater plant. And we have things in the works to change these to make it run better. Other than that, there was 80 cement trucks on midnight shift, 2 foot thick, 100 by 100 by 100. That's how big the tank is.
We oversized it by about 20%, but anyhow, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, sorry. Yeah, I'm good now.
Jags, you done?
Yeah.
Again, yes, go ahead.
Questions for Jags and Bob. I'll do Bob first because he's the more direct line of sight. Only reason why. The sewer CI increase hasn't been applied to the bills yet. FYI.
They haven't.
No. At least not to my bill. I've been paying 8. Everyone else is still paying 8.
Well, they should have.
Yeah, so give them a call and get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been applied. That should have been applied like 2 months ago.
Yeah. A little bit. It just kind of coincided with the drop down. I don't know if they were just writing things down and got the one thing and didn't put the second part in there. Maybe communications, you know.
Yeah, we'll make sure that,
Yeah. And has there been any communications in reference to the contracts vis-a-vis wastewater and water with the county? Any discussions there? Is that supposed to be ongoing? I didn't know if anything was going on there. What are the discussions
We have not
with
talked
anybody
about
or
it.
anything? Okay. And then Jags, and then the rest of council, et cetera. In reference to the massive financial issues we have in the budget, I think it's prudent we need ASAP to look over the general fund and try to figure out. Mayor's very, very pertinent in reference to see the financial side of the fire department and EMS, of course, and also looking forward as far as what the losses of potential revenue will be from the JSW layoffs. I'm not quite sure what people's schedules are, but I think the sooner the better, because we're already months in and behind, especially as far as the budget for the fire EMS. We're going to be bad when the year started, and we just got worse. So we need to really, really hunker down to figure out some sort of solutions there. But of course, councilmatically, it'll be mayoral decisions as far as how that's structured and stuff. We have to meet and look at the funds and see what's up. So how about 2 weeks from tonight? Mayor, is that what your schedule?
Yeah.
That would be what, August 4th?
I believe so.
yeah.
I'll be out of town.
we can't have a meeting.
Well, that's one out. We get 2 out, and I wouldn't even, yeah. Can everybody else make it the 4th? If we get 5, that's good. If we get 4, that would not be good. Okay, that's 2. We
I'll
gotta
be out
find
of
something
town.
else. Oh, you're out of town too? Okay. The whole week or just?
My daughter's going to Cleveland Clinic, and we gotta go out there all week. So,
Understood.
Try the 11th.
Well, we have a council meeting on the 18th, would you be ahead of that?
Yeah, that's a whole other month.
Well, we're not gonna be able to meet.
But again,
very
that's-
long.
it's
Oh,
too
maybe
That
the
was
11th,
gonna be
that's
at
only a week ahead of
6:30.
it. Just want to go for like Thursday night?
This Thursday?
A Thursday. A Thursday. That week of the 4th, everybody is no good on the 4th. Is that, everybody's no good that week, Thursday the 6th?
Saturday was out of town all
Saturday's
week.
out all-
You're out,
all week?
Adam's all
We
week.
got
Yeah,
2
you're
out
of
that whole
town.
week, so
Okay.
scrap that.
Okay.
And this Thursday is kind of a little bit quick to get any real data from Rita. I was talking with Rita yesterday, and they said they can get me data and analysis based upon, payee a little bit via income tax returns. So I'm waiting to get numbers from them. I don't know how long the timeline that's going to be for them to get me data and numbers, but they seemed very willing and able. But seeing and appearing and actually being and doing are indeed, different things. So I don't know how it's going to work out.
Really,
just
you
yet.
want to do, you just want to see what's going on with the general fund and everything, right, George?
Yeah, and since of course, we kind of see how bad things are, because from a council mech, we can't change any fire
I mean,
department EMS
Right,
process.
I can talk
That's you, we can't do that.
But
so.
I'll talk to Jags and everything, if you guys want to meet and just see what it is, and then on August, on a council meeting, then we can discuss what we're going to do. I mean, if everybody's going to be here, I'd rather have 5 councils or 6 council
Yeah.
people here.
So we can't do a 4, it would be just,
Right.
yeah.
How about Thursday the 30th, which would allow us to have pretty much all of July in the book, and that will give us a more clear look at it, where we are after 7 months. Anybody can be out of town that day?
I'm trying to think if I had something going on that day.
I'm day by day, so I can tell.
That's how it is with me, softball games, t-ball games, everything, but I mean, I'll be fine. If we set that up, I'll write it down.
Set it up, that's all I'm doing.
I might be good. I can't, something's going on around there, I don't know what day it is, it's on my calendar for no apparent reason.
I can make it on the 30th.
Huh?
I can make it on
You
the
can make it the 30th?
30th. Yeah.
Can anybody not make it the 30th?
I told you, I'm
You're doing it, yeah.
I got some problems going on, so I got,
Understood, that's, yeah. Okay, hearing no objections from council, I think, we want to try, so it's
July
Thursday,
30th?
July the 30th, any particular time of reference as far as desire?
Midnight.
All right, well, does that mean midnight the next day or day before?
I don't. 6 o'clock, 6:30, I don't care.
Jackson, works for you. You're the main finance guy.
On
The 30th.
don't matter to me.
Are you sending Kim a text and see if she's available or?
No, it's we'll go 6 o'clock, I guess.
Okay.
6 p.m. on the 30th, finance.
On the 30th.
Budget,
What time?
6 o'clock,
On the 30th.
30th, yeah.
Somebody will include that in the email to the Herald Star.
Yeah, okay.
You done with him, George?
Yeah, I return them to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
I have a question, because on this budget, on this printout, we're down to 66,000 in the fire department, but I go over here on monthly expense, it doesn't have nothing. How come I don't have a monthly expense? I can't tell you how much they spend per month. You know what I'm saying?
You an expense report?
Well, yeah, no, on your statement, it's year to date, okay?
Oh, because this was printed July 3rd, so it's on the month of July it's showing, that's why. Yeah.
There's nothing showing.
Yeah, because it's only
It's
3
the
days
date,
worth.
the date that they take the snapshot,
Yeah.
they only took it on the 3rd of the month, so.
I can't really say.
Right, oh,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Understood.
How far is that 66 going to take us? August? Jags?
Yeah.
If that,
And then volunteer
If that,
wages,
yeah.
there's what, 33
Well,
left?
if you look at, this being a halfway point kind of a thing, you look at that, you kind of weep, but that's the,
How about EMS? How we pretty strong in EMS? Or you just wait?
33 left unencumbered.
All right, we'll wait till the 30th to talk about it. I guess that's good. All right. Never mind, Jags.
Okay.
I don't think she's confused.
6 o'clock.
hey, Jack, Joe, you're up.
For the police department, nothing to report, we're flowing as usual, also doing a fantastic job. I gave the mayor my 2 weeks notice last week, my official date will be July 31st.
I'll read this letter here. It says, Dear Mayor Fitton, this letter serves as formal notice of my resignation from the position of Chief of Police for the Village of Mingo Junction, effective July 31st, 2020.
I would like to request executive session for personnel.
Thank you for your service.
yes, Joe. Good luck and have fun.
Joe, congratulations.
And I know, we'll go to executive session in a minute, but since Chief Ray Hawes not here, Mayor Fitton, I no longer feel that I am able to effectively function as leader of the fire department. This is not fair to you, this isn't for the other employees. Therefore, I officially resign my position as Assistant Fire Chief effective Friday, August 24th. So,
24th?
August 24th.
Yes. With that, do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Second.
Second.
I guess. You want to finish at the meeting first, then you want to go in, or what?
No, we'll go now.
You want to go now?
Yeah.
I did. Oh, no. I
Jody Lynn, motion, and I second.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're one of those people, so you got it. You're okay.
The only thing we're going to have is one.
What do we have left to do?
Just committees.
Can we not do them first?
Uh,
Can we not do them first before we go into executive session, so I don't have to stop and then restart everything, the cameras, the tape recorders?
All right, give us 5 minutes.
Sorry, guys.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, now we're going to go, let's go with anything on finance, Jack. We just went over that.
Hey, we have a meeting scheduled.
Yes. George, anything on ordinances?
Ordinance committee met on a day. I have the minutes, you guys want to see the minutes. I was able to attend, so Pat and I kind of went through the ordinances, went through the ordinance book, looked at some things, discussed some things. Ernie, I'm looking with you personally to talk about some things as far as whether we should modify some things or not based upon old law, new, that kind of thing. And with that being said, Richard,
Mr. Herrick, anything on safety?
No, I just been going around, checking around. I haven't noticed anything that we would need to meet on.
Have we heard anything else from Randy and Ken Krug as far as vacating the street? Because I know we were going to have a street
No,
committee meeting. Is
I've not
anything?
heard anything else from
Okay.
them.
I was just wondering if I,
Jody, anything on service?
no, not at this time, no.
Adam, anything on streetlights, sidewalks?
no report, Mayor.
Jack, anything on water and sewage?
Yeah, Mayor, we had a meeting last night. Myself, Satch was there, Adam was out of town. You was there, Bobby was there, and Wayne was there. Wayne's asking to move some funds around out of the unappropriated funds, which is a 6060-257-52-240. He'd like to move $70,000 out of unappropriated funds into the new meter funds. He wants to buy 400 new meters. The new meters are $169 a piece. He said if we get these in, we'll be over halfway to our limit.
I thought we were going to do 300 and leave us a little.
Well, he gave me a letter today.
Oh.
He said,
3, and went to 4, so.
That's an increase we can pick. I'm in favor of that. Let's do that.
Huh?
All in favor of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, all in favor of
Buffer
meters.
there, you know, I just didn't want to
Well,
I thought
I
57,000
realize
was
something,
enough.
you know,
That's okay, that's all right. Sorry.
we don't, Ernie, do we need me to make a motion out of this, the
If you're moving money, you have to pass.
unappropriated funds?
Yeah, you have to pass an ordinance.
Okay.
And anytime you move money or appropriate money, you definitely have to have an ordinance.
So I'll make a motion to move funds from unappropriated funds into the water, new meter fund, 60-60-257-552-240, a total of $70,000.
Second.
I'll give you this paper when I get done, all right?
Okay, fine.
I got a motion, second.
I'll second. George seconded it.
Yeah, I got a motion, you second.
Yeah.
Need a roll
Well,
call.
2 seconds is better than no seconds.
Irvin.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Littell.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Tremblay. Fitzgerald.
Mayor, I got one more thing under,
Water.
no,
Storage.
no. Got them done, did we? Under cemeteries and park and that,
Yes.
I talked to Kenny Corum, and he gave us a bid on those trees. He's gonna start maybe next week, and we have the money up there to do it. The one tree's gonna fall on top of a couple of stones, so we better get them done. The big tree in the park, a hunk of it come down, hit the shelter house the other day, the lower shelter house. So he said he'd take it down and just pile it up, and then Timmy's gonna take away the backhoe.
I guess, we'll find it somewhere.
So, you know, Timmy said, go ahead, because we got the money. So,
Yeah, it's in the cemetery fund.
But that's all I have, Mayor, thank you.
I have something on the cemetery.
Yes.
Nancy got a hold of me, and Nancy Lynetta, and somebody for the second year in a row has stolen artificial flowers from her parents and her husband's grave. I can't tell you how upset she was. She was very upset, and it's the second year in a row. And the graves aren't even next to each other, they're like in 2 separate spots. So, is it something personal? I don't know, but, it's pretty sad when you steal flowers from a grave.
I did report this about 2 months ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
That's all right.
She just sent me a text this week.
Well, no, but they replaced them.
Did they?
The people that she bought them, this second time, they replaced them.
Did they go?
Yeah.
I just think it's really
And
sad.
I blamed it on the wind the first time, because it's just a snap-on.
Yeah.
I taped mine on when I put mine on my parents and on her parents. I tape them on, but she just snaps them on. I don't know. But the other flowers are still there. On the side of the grave, they're there. The ones on top are gone.
It's sitting on top of stone?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
they're just a snap-on.
It'll be blown off easily.
Well, I know it's happened 2 years in a row, so I don't know.
How far away is the roadway?
Yeah, it's.
Maybe the spooks up there, I don't
That's way
know.
down the cemetery.
But they're taken care of. I did, yeah. Thank you for another talk.
George, anything on health?
Health and pension, nothing at this time, but in about 2 months from now, we should be starting on that fund.
And Pat, on the senior center, I mean, you got anything on seniors? I know.
Nothing really going on since we've not opened it up,
Yeah.
but I'm happy to hear that it was cleaned. They definitely needed cleaning.
Oh, but she did Sunday, and it looked good,
Yeah,
it smells
yeah.
good. And, George, I will meet with you on economic development.
Okay.
We will meet soon,
Sooner the better.
soon.
Can we still get some COVID money, or is that pretty much gone?
There's all different routes to get some, they're constantly changing different things, different programs. Some go away, others come up. Nature of the beast.
Hey, speaking of the senior center staying closed, I know there's an uptick in some of the cases. Can Jefferson County break it down and say, Brea, Mingo, 15 is Steubenville, find out if it's, nothing's happening here, then,
I don't know if they'll do it or not. They probably could. I mean, they would know.